Inside the Cardinal Playbook, and Larry Holley is our first guest today. A good weekend for the Cardinals, beating McKendree and then beating Illinois Springfield, and that has those standings in the Western Division of the Great Lakes Valley Conference looking kind of nice right now for you.
Well, we needed to win a game or two, and we won them both. Very happy with the second half against Illinois Springfield because quite candidly, Rick, when we've had leads in the second half, we haven't exactly taken care of business and closed the door.
Right.
Teams have come back and either beaten us or come back and made it very tight. So I was happy that we got the lead, maintained it, and then kind of closed the door at the end. So hopefully that's a step in the right direction. Illinois Springfield, I mean, it's a game that they had fewer wins than we did coming in, as did McKendree. So those are games that you certainly hope you're in a position to win. But they're very capable. You know, they had. Sure. They played some people close and kind of like us, couldn't close the deal. But all in all, a very good week for us.
Let's talk about the McKendree game, because that was a huge one on our schedule for several reasons. It was very important for the playoffs, but it was also important in terms of historic meetings between coaches. You and Harry Statham, the most number of wins between two coaches facing each other in any level of college basketball history. And we come out on top. That's a very nice thing. But what was that night like for you, that whole day?
Well, it was fun. I mean, had a gentleman from Kansas City Star come over and spend some time with us, and they did a nice article, and so got to talk about it a little bit. You know, probably got my mind off the actual game a little bit, but that's probably good. Taught a class, had a normal routine with our walkthrough and our video and pregame meal and all that. But I was just a very small part of that because Harry has 1,077 wins. He's the winningest coach ever in the history of the game, and let me say that again, ever.
Right.
And there's been a lot of college coaches. I'm on the list, but I'm not where he is. I'm certainly not where Coach K and Jim Boeheim are, but happy to be a part of that with his win total to be a part of history. That's certainly something I'll never forget, and it was a special night.
That being said, did you and Harry have a moment to kind of go hide in a corner and talk about this, or was it something that never came up between the two of you, and how did he treat it?
Actually, when Vahe Gregorian came in from the Kansas City Star to visit with me, McKendree was just leaving the floor with their walkthrough, and he had done an article on him when he actually broke the all-time record, because Vahe used to be with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, had gone to McKendree University, which is 30-40 minutes from St. Louis, and done a nice interview with him. So they knew each other, and so he happened to be walking in as McKendree was walking out, so the three of us stood and talked for probably 20 minutes. It was very nice. And then I got to visit with Harry a little bit before the game, and of course we both longtime NAIA guys. Sure. And you know, kind of getting acquainted with each other now on the Division II level. That was our first meeting at the Division II level. And we'd only played them twice before. I think William Jewell played them back in the 50s, I think, on a trip that they made to St. Louis and Illinois.
Never in the NAIA tournament, though. I find that kind of amazing, a number of times you've both been there.
That's absolutely true. But I only had one team, prior to 1991-92, I'd only had one team go to the national tournament, our 88 team, and we didn't happen to play McKendree on that trip. And then we went Division II for several years, and they stayed Division I. So, and we did play them non-conference in the late 90s. We played them home and away, and fortunate to win both games. But then when we went NAIA Division I again, we went to the national tournament all three times, but never met them. So, had only coached against him twice. Coached against him once when I was an assistant at Northwest Missouri State back in the late 70s. We played down there, and happy to be part of a win in that game. But very fortunate, and I'm sure he'll, when we play down there next year, that'll be pretty good bulletin board material for his squad.
Had to feel good to win that, though. I mean, if you're going to go through all of that during the day, and any win feels good, I'm sure, but it had to feel great at the end of the day.
It did. It did. We needed that, you know. And as I told our squad, you know, Harry and I weren't going to go out there and go one-on-one, you know. Although he's 76, I'm 68, might have had a chance to take him, you know. And but it was our players against his players, our program against his program, and certainly we're the heads of both programs, but we're not out there taking shots and defending and rebounding and all that, fortunately. So I was just proud of our guys that they held them off. Again, we had an 11-point lead. They cut it to 2 and had a chance. So we didn't put them away the way we did Illinois Springfield, but happy for the win.
Speaking of our players against their players, who played over the weekend well for us?
Well, we had a number of players that had good weeks. Devontae Mosby especially, I think, had a good week. He got in foul trouble in that McKendree game, only played 3 minutes in the first half, and still ended up with 20 points, I think, in 21 minutes and 7 rebounds. Then he had a double-double, I want to say 19 points, 15 rebounds against Illinois Springfield. Was not in foul trouble. We're just a better team, at least defensively and offensively, when he's on the floor, because he's such a force from a defensive rebounding and an offensive rebounding status. And he's ranked in the GLVC in both those categories. And that's, we're just a better ball club when he's on the floor.
Let me ask you this. Did you tweak your rotation a little bit on Saturday to try to keep him out of foul trouble?
Well, the rotation changed on Thursday. We changed the starting lineup. We moved Cyril Ballon into the starting lineup to have a more conventional size lineup. No disrespect to Jordan Lewis, because Jordan's had a fine year for us. But we were just, it was just a tough mismatch at the start of the game, and we decided to make that change. And we don't have that great three-point shooter on the floor like when we have Jordan, or we would have come off the bench with Kyle Smith. Those are our guys that we look to provide instant offense from three-point range. But it changed our rotation a little bit. We didn't, but at the same time, McKendree played a more conventional lineup. They played 2 bigs a lot. When the other team plays 3 guards and a forward, then we might place a real Ballon at the 4 a little bit, which he's done for us in the past. But Chris Morrison came off, did a nice job. Reith Jaich did a nice job. But I want to mention Clint McCullough. McCullough's done a great job. I joked he doesn't come to Coach Addison on matchups anymore and ask how tall the guy is he's going to guard. He asks how much he weighs. And because Clint's about 200 pounds, maybe 205, soaking wet. And he's having to battle those guys and giving up anywhere from 40 to 80 pounds. And he's done a marvelous job with that. And it wears you out, And plus, he's getting stronger again. If you remember, he had a great 3-game run, but sprained his ankle in that S&T game, missed the Drury game, and was not full strength the following weekend. So he's just now getting back to full strength. And he's done a nice job finding Mosby inside, a little high-low action. And while neither of them is a center, does give us a little low-post presence if Devontae can take advantage of a mismatch down low.
Coach, I agree with you. I think Mosby and McCullough have become at getting better and better playing together. They're going to need to be good this week with number 2 Drury, at least this week number 2, coming in Thursday night, and S&T could be a huge game for us on Saturday.
Well, it is a big week. Drury has 1 loss on the year. They lost a close one at Bellarmine in January, and they've had some people play them close, but good teams find a way to win those games, and they have won every one of them. They know how to win down the stretch. We're trying to learn how to do that. It'll be a real test for us because, they pretty much dominated us down there. I think it was a 23, 25-point game. So we played with them for a while, did well for a while, but we didn't extend it. They're an outstanding team. They're tested road and home. So there's not going to be fear on their part. But I like the way we're playing. We'll see how we respond. We had a really good week of practice, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week. We kind of challenged the guys, and we'll see how we respond this week to practice, because Thursday night will be a real test for us.
Well, they evidently responded pretty well this weekend with 2 wins last weekend for the Cardinals. Larry, thank you very much for coming in, and we'll be back with more Inside the Cardinal Playbook after this.
Gets the ball in White's hands. Everybody run the floor.
What a defensive play by Smith.
McCullough attacking the rim.
You gotta like that.
I really love the Hy-Vee Fuel Saver program because there's no limit to what you can buy. I work on Monday nights, so we make sure I pick up a pizza. They're usually a 5 to 15 cent fuel saver. It's an easy discount and an easy meal for the kids. The most I've saved with gas was $2.08 a gallon. When I saw how much it was, I kind of did a little dance up and down. I took a picture, of course, of what I saved, and then I sent it to my husband, who then posted on Facebook that I went back in time and saved money on gas today.
Back inside the Cardinal Playbook, it's head softball coach Dustin Combs who joins us after the trip to Arkansas this weekend. 6 games, you were able to get them in. Partner, some of your players told me it was cold and miserable out, but I think that's to be expected in February.
Well, yeah, we knew going down there that they'd been battling some of the temperatures and weather we have had here. Friday was really cold and windy. Saturday was a little bit warmer, but still very windy. And Sunday, yesterday, I felt it was really nice. It was more like what we're used to playing in the spring.
2 and 4 over the weekend. You get beat twice on your first day and then split the doubleheaders the next 2 days. And how do you feel about that?
Well, we never like losing. But Friday we just really weren't playing any aspects of the game very well. And so we weren't very happy after Friday. We had several good talks, and the girls kind of got refocused, and Saturday and Sunday was completely different and more like the team we feel like we have. Saturday and Sunday, the 2 losses we did have were in extra innings, so we're right there. And really after Friday, we felt like that was a real good sign of what this team has in them to have the short memory to come out Saturday morning and play better. Offensively, we looked a lot better. Defensively, on Saturday and Sunday, we were just superb and turned, I think, 15 double plays on the weekend.
Say that again, because that's an amazing stat.
Yeah, and that's the type of team we have to be. Our pitchers realize they can throw to contact, and we actually walked the bases loaded intentionally in the extra inning game, and then got the double play ball that we so badly needed. That's the kind of confidence our pitchers have in our defense, is that they can get ground balls to them and give them an opportunity to get us out of some tough jams. Defensively, like I said, I was very pleased. Offensively, we still at times looked really strong, and then and girls had great at bats, and then at times we looked like we haven't seen live pitching for a while.
Sure. Which is probably true in a lot of cases. Before we talk about individuals, let's talk a little bit about this preseason that has you in the top 4 in the GLVC. Is that not a distraction, but is it a little bit heavier weight to take into the season?
Well, I think our girls feel the pressure of having another solid season after really not losing much. So they maybe have created some of that anxiety about being picked at that spot. We possibly coaches have created a little bit of the anxiety, but I think after this weekend, I think they've realized that everybody on our schedule is a quality team, and they have to show up and play.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some of the individuals. Again, I know it was kind of a tough day on Friday, but who stood out for you over the entirety of the weekend?
Well, we had several, and at times all of the girls played well. I think standing out, just looking at the stats and knowing that she came up in some big situations. Faith had a great weekend offensively. She seemed to come up in critical situations and come through for us. She also pitched very well against Missouri Western, the game that we won on Saturday, to kind of get us going again in confidence.
You're expecting an awful lot of her, aren't you?
Well,
I don't mean that in a negative way, but she will fill a lot of roles for you.
Yeah, this weekend we relied predominantly on Faith and Rachel Hayden's arm, and Faith on Saturday threw 180 pitches in the
high?
2 games. That's high this time of year. Later in the season, that wouldn't be too concerning. But between the 2 games, that's what she was at. And then Rachel had to throw 120 in yesterday's win against Missouri Southern. Again, higher pitch counts than we would like for them to have, but both were very good, and really they were so effective that it didn't seem like their pitch counts were up as high as they were. So she did a great job in the circle also offensively. Kelsey Morgan, a freshman from Topeka at third base, she played really well defensively. Hit her first career collegiate home run. Seemed to really play with a lot of confidence and really didn't let the nerves get to her. Megan Barnes played very well at shortstop, and offensively I think she ended the weekend right at 500 offensively and made some great plays. Erin Kramer behind the plate played very well. She caught however many innings we played, she caught them all. And her focus was there still on Saturday or Sunday, and that's a good thing that she played through, I'm sure, some sore legs. And I think Brittany Matson had a really strong day on Saturday, hitting 2 home runs in each of the games, a big one against Missouri Western. Everyone contributed very well, and even, like I said, in the losses, we didn't beat ourselves. We played very well, both teams that beat us, very deserving, and again, just kind of got the timely hit when needed.
You have talked about, and we know that you have a solid core returning this year, but we heard a lot of new names there when you were talking. And are you using a lot of people now, or are you kind of with a set lineup already? How does that work for you?
Well, it's tough as a coach in a program where we feel like we've got great depth and players that can help us in any position. We don't want to get too set right now, and it might have seemed that way because we did play a lot of, everyone got in, but our first 6 or 7 in the lineup didn't change much. It's kind of a catch-22. You want to get everybody some at bats, but you also want to get your maybe top 6 the most at bats. And some of the players that came in, Megan Kapler had a start in our win and played really well and got on base in some different situations. And I think it is exciting to hear some new names that contributed because we know what our returners and our veterans are going to provide us. So I think that might have been the question mark, is what are these new girls who are going to get a lot of playing time going to be able to provide, and it was positive. I
know through the years nobody uses their roster to such extent as you do, finding roles for all of those players.
Right.
So I expect that's still part of the process.
Oh, absolutely, and it's not the easiest thing to do, but we get our girls buying into the role and believing in. It takes all 20 of us, and it truly does. I mean, if we're going to have a shot to, play deep into the season, and it's going to take all 20 girls. And, roles change throughout the year. I tell them every year, the game 1 starting lineup will never be the same game 56. It just doesn't work out that way. Players get in situations and do well with it, and they, the roles change. So.
And what do you have coming up this weekend?
We go to Tahlequah in Northeastern State University.
Home ground for you.
Well, it's my alma mater. So we'll play, actually, Bacone from Muskogee is going to come over. So we'll play a little triangular both days. And so we'll see Northeastern State twice and Bacone twice. Weather forecast looks great. It's nice to be able to go.
It's a big part of the year.
Yeah. Of course, it's fun for me because we'll go down and we'll actually hit in a friend of mine's indoor, and then we'll go have dinner at my parents' house, and the girls get a home-cooked meal, and then get to play, where I spent my college days. So.
And do people come up and tell them stories about your college days, or no? We don't need to know that at all.
Yeah.
Dustin Combs has been our guest inside the Cardinal Playbook, and we're back with more after this.
Before the game or after the game, it's Poor Boy Oil Company for your pre- and post-game food and beverage. ConocoPhillips and BP Amoco Fuels get you to the game, and our large vendors give you great food and beverage choices before or after the game. Our small-town roots and family value philosophies help us to maintain the highest standards in customer service and value. Poor Boy Oil Company. Find us around the Northland, wherever the Cardinals fly.
Hi, I'm Rachel Callaghy, Head Connections Specialist with Welcome Opportunities, the Northland's only target marketing firm that specializes in turning the thousands of new residents who move to our area each year into your customers. We are the advertising option that's never turned off, torn up, or tossed out, at least not yet anyway. So if you're looking for the most cost-effective way to reach prospective customers before your competitors, give me a call today at 816-883-8633 or visit my website at welcomeopportunities.com.
Welcome back inside the Cardinal Playbook, and now we visit with head women's basketball coach Jewell Cress. It was a little bit of a frustrating weekend, but you split 2 games, winning against McKendree, losing against Illinois Springfield. but maybe one good half out of the 4 this weekend. Let's talk about McKendree first of all. You got off to a slow start, but rallied in the second half.
Yeah, we really didn't play well against McKendree or Illinois Springfield. Missed a lot of shots, but I was really proud of the kids. I thought we fought with the McKendree game and did the things that we needed to do to come out with a win. And you always want to do that, and we've struggled. I mean, it's we struggled this season, and I've had quite a few people calling and asking me what's going on, and I'm not sure I can answer that. But yeah, anytime we get a win right now, we're going to take it, and so to get a win with McKendree was good for us. With the split this weekend, where does that leave you in terms of the playoffs? Actually, it looks like we're going to get into playoffs. If we would win one game, it would make sure that we do. I'm not sure where we're going to end up as far as seeding. We're not going to get a home game. There's even a possibility if we lost all 3 that we'll still get in.
Really?
What they do is they take the top 5 from each side, and then the next 2 wild cards, and I think both openings will come from our side, just from looking at some things. On the other side, St. Joseph's and McKendree and Illinois Springfield all have 3 wins. Missouri S&T and us have 5. And when you go to it, we've beaten both St. Joseph's and McKendree.
Sure, so they had tiebreaker.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly who they have left. I'm someone, this, I kind of just focus on ourselves. But I know if we win one, we're going to get in. Speaking of focusing on yourselves, I know you were not happy with Saturday's performance against Illinois Springfield. Can you kind of give us a little peek inside of what exactly you're upset with? We're just really struggling doing little things with boxing out. Knowing who you're guarding, we leave the wrong people open. I've always pressed. We're not going to press the next 3 games. We're just going to go back to basics. We're just, I think the kids think they're working hard. And again, great players love them, but they're not to the point that we need to. And I'm not sure I'm going to get them to where we need to in that. For press, you have to have everybody buy into it, and you also have to really work hard the whole time. And we work hard in spurts, and so we may use it in spurts, but probably less than what we have been using it. And kind of get back this week and next week. We're just going to get back to this really basic basketball and simplify everything up, and hopefully do the little things where we're boxing out, where we're playing good defense, where we're talking, we're struggling hedging on ball screens, and just some little things that actually fall back on the head coach as far as teaching them and making them do that. And I probably took some things for granted a little bit too much this year as far as assuming kids knew what we were going to do. And so 3 games left before playoffs, so not all is lost. You just have to, quite sure we're going to make playoffs. You have to start kind of building up and getting yourself prepared to hopefully make a run there. Jill, you're a veteran coach, 18 years here at Jewell, and a player, of course, in college. Have you ever been through anything quite like this before as a coach? No, I really haven't, and I'm not sure I'm handling it as well as what I should. I've talked to quite a few coaches and during this time, and a lot of them that have been in this situation, and all of them have told me just to focus back on little things and to just try to make yourself better, just little bits better, so that if you're going to make playoffs, you can at least make a run. So that's what we're going to do, and try to find the positives in what we have been doing, because there are. I think we push the ball well. I think we execute some things offensively well, and kind of build on that. Harold Shepard was your coach in high school, Vinton High School. I know he's still a great friend and coached here for a couple of years. Did he ever make that statement to you as a high school player that, Jill, you're not working maybe as hard as you should? And what was your reaction to that? Yeah, actually, I give him a hard time because my sophomore year I got moved up to varsity. I was the only player moved up. He didn't usually move people up, and I kind of got cocky during that time and maybe didn't do some of the things that he wanted me to or work as hard. And I kind of had a comment back to him. I can't remember what it was, but he stopped practice and he told me, he's like, I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you're going to be. He's like, you'll never play for me again if tomorrow it's not changed. And that was a huge impact for me. And he was somebody, because we had some really good players quit also. You either loved him or you didn't. Right. And he was always, never got caught up on a really good player. It was all, if you bought into his program and believed in his program and your teammates, you're going to win. And you look at him, and he always won, and he always expected to win, and I loved that part of it. But that was an eye-opener for me, and I think it's really impacted me as a player and a coach, is that, it's not one person, and you don't need one person to win, and it's more of just a team thing, and so I learned a lot from him, but that was a big one for me.
We haven't talked a lot about this, but playing at Northwestern in Iowa, similar experience as far as the team versus the individual. How was your college experience?
I'll be honest with you, I love my college coach. He was the head volleyball, head basketball, head softball, head baseball coach.
Wow.
And that was a lot. And their volleyball team was very successful, and that was where his love was. I went there because it was away from home, and it was a really good experience for me. It was just a neat school for me, and it was a good fit. Was not very good as far as just basketball experience, but I think I had always won, through high school. So college, it was a little different. We used to get to the game before nationals, and then Dave Slifer, who's the Central Missouri coach, was the head coach at Mount Mercy in Iowa. They always knocked us off. I think he beat us all 3 times, but our record was always about 500. So that was a change for me, and but I think I handled it well. But I knew I didn't want to always be a 500 player or coach. But I think I was a little different. I always tried to take an opportunity to learn, and I think most of my philosophy comes from Shep. There were some things I got from Coach Meyer, and he's somebody I still talk to about once a month. I have a ton of respect for him.
Who are you talking about, Shep?
My basketball coach in college was, I talked to Shep probably once a week.
I was going to say.
But no, Coach Meyer, I talked to probably about once a month, once every 2 months. When you look at somebody that, for me, I have so much to do with just basketball, and he was able to do the volleyball. Volleyball went to nationals all the time, was very successful in baseball, and always kept us, right there too. He balanced a lot and gave a lot, and so have a ton of respect for him also. Just
quickly, who have been your other influences in coaching?
My parents.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my mom was always the person that would cheer for the other team if we got too far ahead. She always kind of kept me balanced. My dad would always was very, expected us to always play hard, and he was always, like the underdog, and he would take me out. He would spend a lot of time with me, just going out and shooting or hitting softballs and things like that. It was a lot of fun. I think as a parent, I'm not sure. There's times that my kids ask me to go play catch, and I'm tired. My dad never told me no. He always would make time for that. And then, of course, Shep was probably the biggest influence on why I got into coaching. And I've told him that I don't think I would be doing what I do now had I not played for him, and just love that experience. And then now that I'm in coaching, probably my biggest one would be Coach Holley. You look at his record, you look at what he's done, and you look at how he handles winning and losing. He's this year they're doing better. He's struggled the last 2 years, but you look at his 35 years. I think he's had maybe 3 losing seasons or 4. But he always handles it well and looks at the big picture, and is a great teacher. And those would be probably my biggest influences, and it's been good. I've been very fortunate to have those kind of people in my life.
Well, Drury coming up this weekend, along with Missouri S&T, and then a road trip to Rockhurst, a short road trip. Yeah. Boy, that's nice to say that.
It is nice.
And the Cardinals then look forward to the postseason. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks, Rick.
And we'll be back with more Inside the Cardinal Playbook in a minute.
Every day is different, that's for sure. Get down on defense every single possession, because that's where you win game.
Let's box out, get some offensive rebounds, and just work hard.
Tanner's is new to Liberty, just south of the Highway 152 and I-35 intersection. They're open Sunday through Tuesday from 11 a.m. until midnight, and Wednesday through Saturday from 11 until 1:30 a.m. Come in any day for food specials in the spacious dining area. Happy hour specials are served from 2 spots in the building, and the service is fast and friendly. Tanner's of Liberty, just south of the Highway 152 and I-35 intersection. And that's Inside the Cardinal Playbook for this week. We thank coaches Holley, Cress, and Combs for participating. This weekend, the Cardinal basketball teams are at home, Drury on Thursday night, and Missouri S&T on Saturday afternoon. We will see you next week inside the Cardinal Playbook.